Today we're talking about bags. Let's get into it. All right, y'all, so this list is gonna be from smallest to biggest, and we're starting with this, the Janji Multipass Mini. For those that don't know, Janji is a running gear company, and they specialize in running clothing and accessories, and you can really tell that they put a lot of thought into their design, especially by looking at this little bag. One of my favorite things about this bag, and one of the reasons I really love it as my main kind of running and fitness bag, is because they put a ton of thought into this buckle system. So it's just a single buckle, but unlike a lot of fanny packs that attach at the front, this buckle actually attaches on the side. And because of that, you only have one strap that you need to really cinch it down. They included this little elastic deep ring pull thing that you can use to tighten it on the fly. A little bit of dialing in, you can get it to where this pack doesn't move at all. Now, Janji calls this an everyday pack. They also say that you can use it as a sling. I personally think it's way more secure around the hip. So if you wear it as a sling, you can see here that it kind of sits flush, but it also kind of sits at an angle. It's not like super snug against the back. And I just think it kind of feels weird. I guess I could wear it like this, but then it's pretty high up on the chest, but it's definitely usable as a daily bag. So now getting into the features of this bag, we'll start with the back. There's this nice big mesh panel on the back with a zip that reveals the first pocket that we'll talk about. And this is actually a really smart design. This is where I typically keep my cell phone. It fits a pretty large iPhone. And by putting this right up against the mesh backing that goes against your back, it means that the heaviest object in here is going to be up against your back, so it's going to bounce a lot less. Moving to the front, there's another zippered pocket right here. I think this would be more so useful for maybe some credit cards or really small items. I wouldn't want to put anything too heavy here just because the further off your body the weight is, the more that this bag will bounce around. You may have also noticed this cool metal blue ring that has this paracord woven through. This is actually so that you can throw a running layer, let's say maybe a wind shell, or if you're wearing a long sleeve layer and it starts to warm up on your run, you can take it off, roll it up, and it fits right under this, and you can actually cinch it down with this little cinch right here. In practice, I've actually found that this thing works a lot better than you would think. So moving on to the main compartment. So it's a pretty big compartment. I've been able to fit like a small planner in here, again, just for kind of like going out and about, but it's a perfect size for, you know, gels while you're running. And then inside, they put this big mesh kind of sleeve that again secures items that are a little more small that might be jingling and bouncing around as you're running. You can slide them in there and they're much more secure. This is more so like a quick errand bag when all I really need to take with me is a phone, a wallet, and keys. Just running out the door and back, not really having to take a lot of stuff. This could be kind of a perfect daily bag if you don't like to keep a lot of stuff in your pockets like I do. But for me, my everyday carry bag actually needs to be able to carry a lot more because I usually take a water bottle and a camera with me. So the next bag does just that. This is my Filson tin cloth hunting bag. Now, if you followed my channel anytime recently, you've probably seen me using this on remote parts of my shoot, as well as it being featured in my everyday carry video. This really has been for over a decade now, my everyday carry bag. So getting into the features, first off, the whole kind of surround here and bottom of the bag is made from Filson's iconic tin cloth. It's a waxed canvas fabric that resists water really well. So like I've laid this down in puddles and things like that, and it doesn't soak up any water. So I'm pretty sure that most of the contents inside are dry. On top, this is just a standard twill. So if it's raining really hard, yes, water can soak through. I've never personally had an issue of water getting in. But looking at the features, first off, in the front, you've got this big flat pocket secured by this nice huge button. And inside, it's pretty much just a basic pocket. I keep a planner and it's got a leash for car keys right here. And then moving around to the side, both of these pockets are identical, but you have a sleeve. These side pockets feature a little hoop that you can put your finger through, and it makes snapping these flaps with one hand much easier. And then the back is pretty similar to the front. You have one kind of slide pocket that's secured by another big button. And then in front of that is kind of a slip pocket that you can put documents or other flat items in. And it has a little bit of, I think, like a felt or wool lining so that stuff slides in and out much easier. Before I get into the main pocket up top, I just wanted to call out these super beefy, thick leather handles. They're not showing really any signs of wear. They're still super thick. And then there's two big button clasps on this handle so that you can cinch them together and make a nice kind of single handle. This is a basic 32-ounce Nalgene, and both of these flat pockets fit it pretty well. So it's nice and secured out of the way. And then the main shoulder strap, this is actually a replacement, the one that came on it. Again, because I didn't do a good job of maintaining this leather, the leather on the original one started to crack and rip. It never fully ripped, just a little bit, and Filson actually sent me a brand new one under their warranty for no extra cost to me, which was great. This shoulder strap is attached to these D-rings via these big brass hooks. And the D-rings themselves are attached to the bag via these big leather patches. So now moving into the main compartment, this is the reason that I really love this bag. Now, Filson could have, made this just one big compartment. What they did is they have these two dividers that are made of the same twill material as the top of the bag, and I'll just pull them out here. And what they do is they give you 3 separate spaces in the bag. Now you can pull them out completely and make it one just big carnivorous bag, but these little dividers are great for me, especially because I like to keep this camera insert. This one is just big enough to hold a regular digital camera and maybe a spare lens. And it's got these nice little mesh pockets in the front for extra memory cards and batteries. And it fits perfectly in that center pocket of this Filson bag. And even with that camera insert in there, I still have plenty of room on both sides to put any other things that I might be carrying throughout the day. So all this practical space makes it an easy choice for me to be my daily carry. And of all the reasons I love this bag, there is one thing that it doesn't do super well that I think the next bag does perfectly. Now, whenever I want to get out of the house to do my work, my Filson doesn't do a great job of carrying my laptop. So my daily bag ends up switching to this, the Osprey Daylight Plus. Now, I know there's a bunch of great options for tech backpacks out there that have compartments and all of that for all of your specific needs, but for me, this works really well for 3 reasons. One, I just like how small it is. The other reason I really like this is because I just love the brand Osprey. I think they're a really solid brand. They make really great products. They have amazing warranties on all their products, and this isn't the first Osprey backpack I've owned. And then the third reason is actually because this doubles as my hiking bag. So the sleeve that the laptop goes in, I can use as a water reservoir, and it can hold up to 2.5 or 3 liters. So it's got multiple uses for me, and just that sleeve alone makes it super versatile. But getting into the features, starting off with the pockets, this front flap is connected to the bag using these 2 plastic clasps. They're pretty robust, and I think plenty for if you need to stuff just like a jacket or something in here when you're out for a hike. There's a small zip pocket in the front. You can use it for snacks or really any small kind of flat item that'll fit in there. On both sides, there's these big mesh pockets. You could put a decent sized water bottle in there. Moving up is the first kind of front zip. It's like a half clamshell, but it goes pretty far into the pocket. I usually use this for wallet, keys, things like that, because it also has a little key leash and a couple of little, I think, nylon dividers for other small items. And then moving on to the main compartment, First thing you'll notice is the big sleeve. Like I said before, it can be used for a laptop or it doubles as a water reservoir holder, but it's pretty big for just kind of what you see on the outside. It ends up holding a lot more. I really don't have the biggest work from home setup, so all I really need is just this Thule tech pouch that holds all my cables, chargers, my AirPods, and any other little small tech things I might need, like a small hard drive. And then the laptop, this is a 14-inch MacBook Pro. When I first saw this bag at REI, I was a little concerned about these straps. They looked kind of thin and I thought they might kind of dig into my shoulders if this was weighed down. But I actually haven't experienced that at all. One good thing that Osprey does is their ergonomics. So I believe they got their start with hiking backpacks, and that was the first bag I got from them, was a hiking backpack. And ergonomics is where I think they really excel. So these straps are really comfortable despite being thin. You have a chest strap that is built into these straps, and you can slide them up and down on these little rails that are built in, so you can fine tune the adjustment and how it fits. And then below here are two additional tabs where you can attach a waist strap just to distribute that weight just a little bit more if you're really loading this thing down with a bunch of stuff. I've traveled with this and it ends up being kind of like my auxiliary tech bag, but I need something that also carries my clothes for a trip. So that's where the next bag comes in. All right, so this is the Peace and War duffel from Beckel Canvas. Now, this behemoth of a bag is 46 liters. It's made in the USA and it's all cotton canvas. This is kind of my go-to bag for if I need to carry a bunch of stuff. This will be my travel bag if I have the luxury of a checked bag and if I'm just carrying a ton of clothes. As far as features go, they're pretty limited, but what it lacks in features, it makes up for in just being super durable. I've had this for over 10 years now. All the stitching is intact. The zippers are kind of like the beefiest, biggest zippers I've ever seen, and they've never broken. They still zip. These handles are a thick cotton webbing, and they're reinforced on each side with these little leather patches. And then as you can see here on kind of each corner, there's little reinforcements of leather just to make those little areas a little more durable. The only extra thing is just a little card slot where you can put your luggage tag or something like that. The two handles have a Velcro leather strap that you can attach them together so they're not flopping about. On each side, you have these metal D-rings for a shoulder strap. This is kind of my maximalist travel option. It's what I would use alongside my backpack if I was going on a trip where I needed to bring a ton of clothes, or like I currently use it as my car camping bag. But if I wanted to use something a little more minimal, or maybe have everything in one bag, the next bag and the last bag on this list are what I would choose. Final bag on this list is the Osprey Farpoint 40. So this is my kind of all-in-one travel bag. It meets pretty much most carry-on restrictions, so I don't have to check a bag whenever I travel with this thing. So to start off, the material of this bag is a nice beefy nylon. It's got a little bit of this sheen, and I think in this metallic or gunmetal gray color, I think it's pretty stealthy. I love the look of it. But starting off with kind of the front, you have these two big buckles. Let's say I'm traveling and I'm wearing a jacket or a hoodie or something like that. If I get hot, I can take it off, fold it up, throw it under one of these, and then just cinch them down, and they're good to go. I've also used these to carry like a second pair of sneakers or lightweight shoes or sandals. Once you open up these buckles, you have this nice big pocket in the front. It's got kind of two access points from the side and this big kind of middle strap that I think helps just kind of keep it secure. Whenever you fill this bag up, it really kind of limits the amount of space you can really use here. So whenever I use it, it really ends up being kind of a place for me to slide any sort of papers or snacks or something like that. But if I'm not really loading this thing out and I can utilize this space to the fullest, it's a great spot for a big water bottle. On the top and the left side, if you're facing the bag, you have these really big beefy handles that if you're using this in duffel mode, these are kind of a great way to just quickly carry it or throw it into a car or something like that. On the side, you have this nice big laptop sleeve that for me easily fits my 14-inch MacBook Pro. I think you could definitely get a bigger laptop in there if you needed to. And then right here, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about this because I think this is what really sets Osprey apart from a lot of other bag manufacturers. They included this nice big beefy backpack shoulder strap and waist belt. So these straps just buckle right up here on the top. These are called load lifters and they help just kind of distribute the weight evenly. The shoulder straps themselves are super thick. There's some really nice padding in there. Feels like maybe it's like a gel or something. And then under those straps, there's a little bit of like a mesh so that you're not storing too much heat right up in there under your shoulders. On the front, you have this nice chest strap with a built-in whistle. That's kind of just a feature that Osprey's had in all of their bags, but it sits on these little rails on this like 8-inch piece of fabric, so it's kind of infinitely adjustable. You're not going to have any issues finding the perfect place for this chest strap. On the back, you have this nice ventilated foam pad that's kind of ergonomically shaped to match the shape of your spine. Moving down to the waist belt, this is where most of the weight distribution happens, and for those of you that have backpacks before and you've used a true hiking bag, this is going to be familiar to you. But being able to put most of the weight in your hips is a game changer whenever you're carrying a ton of weight. Having this as an option makes traveling so much easier. And they even included like a little mesh pocket in this belt, which is easy to access for like your phone, wallet, keys. And what's great is if you don't want to use it like a backpack, you want it to kind of go back into stealth mode as a duffel, it takes all but 20 seconds to just fold the straps back up, put the flap over, zip it up, and it's like it was never there. On top, you have what I think Osprey calls their like quick access pocket, but this is going to be a good like secure place for really important things: boarding passes, passport, wallet. It's even got a key loop in there, so you kind of know what this pocket's intended for. And then moving on to probably the most important pocket in this bag, and that is just kind of the main clamshell opening. You could either just put your clothes directly in here like I do, or you could get packing cubes if you're kind of the organizational type. Inside, there's these two kind of cinch down straps that if you want to, you can kind of really tighten down your clothes so that as you get to your destination, you can just rip this thing open. You're not worried about like clothes falling everywhere. They're gonna be nice and secure. So I usually like to fit about 5 days worth of clothes in here. And then you have this big mesh pocket. This is a great place for me to store like socks and underwear or items that maybe have gotten dirty. With 5 days worth of clothes and my cosmetics, I still have a little bit of room in this main compartment for the tech pouch that I was showing y'all earlier that carries a lot of my cables, my chargers, and things like that. And on the front here, this is another feature of this bag that was really exciting for me. These straps actually double as a carrier for Osprey's Farpoint backpack. So they designed the front of this to kind of perfectly mate with the Farpoint day pack so that once you get to your destination, you have kind of a daily backpack you can use. This feature still works pretty well with my Daylight backpack. So it's really great to have. Whenever I'm traveling, I will load this up with my clothes, my tech pouch, my computer, and then sometimes what I will do is put my camera equipment in my Daylight backpack and then attach that here. So that way I'm getting to my destination with everything and I still have a day pack to use for my day-to-day use. If you stuck with me this far, that's the end of the video. I hope it was helpful to you and you got some information about the bags that I use daily. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more.